Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Qdabra's weekly webinar. My name is Curvy, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. So today we're going to present a collection of Power BI charts using COVID-19 data. So last June 4, we did a webinar with the same topic, but this time we've added new interesting COVID-19 Power BI charts. And we're also going to share with you a few tips and tricks when using Power BI. So before we start the presentation, let's do a quick poll. So I'm just going to launch the poll now. Okay. So first question is, have you joined our Qdabra Power BI COVID-19 report webinar last June 4? All right, 100% said yes. Okay, so I guess all of you have attended the webinar before, so let's close this first question and proceed with the next. So next question is, are you familiar with Power BI? All right, so 100% of you said yes, I have created my Power BI, so that's good. All right. So at the end of this webinar, we're going to share the Power BI file so you can easily share it in your organization. You may upload it in your company's SharePoint site or web page. So also with us today is Kaoru Okumura, one of our Techno project managers here at Qdabra. She's going to present these interactive Power BI charts and show you how to build it. So without further ado, let's dive into our topic. Kaoru?
All right, thank you very much, Kirby. So this is a kind of part 2 of Power BI report for COVID-19 statistics. And as Kirby mentioned, we are going to give the source file of this Power BI after this webinar, and you can freely use this, and you can get credit on it. And today's topics include some improvement of our report, as well as new metrics. Some of you may be familiar with that the new joint travel advisory published by New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So I'd like to cover this one too, and with some Power BI tips, especially reducing the scheduled refresh failure also experienced after the last webinar. Okay, so let me just dive in to the report. So, this is the one that we presented in the last month, and we have 3 pages, like a county-based page, state-based page, or worldwide-based page, because we have separate data source for each data, country data or states data or so on. However, I was not so satisfied with this structure. I'd like to have everything in one page. And also, what I was not satisfied with the previous version was, yes, we are using a kind of index, normalized number, and yes, we can see the time-based trend as well as the latest situation on each state, like an Arizona shows the worst one. So I love to see the trend in Arizona, but when I click this one, this is a dynamic filtering feature. However, wow, there is no data on the left side because we have tons of data on each day, but to show the latest data, I need to filter the data only on the latest date one. And when I click this one, the filter on Arizona as well as the only for the latest date is reflected on the left side, and we have only one data point. And so what I created after that is something like that. So in one page, every data is shown. So I put everything like in a total death, total case, and the latest one. This is now showing the country base. It's worldwide version. So now the index death, which means that 2 weeks new death by per 100,000 resident. And seems like Chile has the worst data. And just for index, which means that new positive for the last 2 weeks per 100,000 resident. Also Chile and Ecuador and this is Baha'is and Oman and so on. We can see that kind of data. And also world chart with coloring and index by date as well as index by date and this by date. And when I filter with maybe United States, I select, then this timeline shows the US timeline. Or if I select different country like Brazil, now this shows the Brazil trend. So that's the major item. And the second point is the New York and New Jersey and Connecticut quarantine rules. Now was really recent update. And these tri-state now requires 14 days quarantine for all travelers from the specific states, which has a high ratio. And in fact, when I first saw the news, they didn't specify which states are the targeted. Oh, excuse me. Here is. So I'd like to see the data. Something went wrong. Okay. Yes. And the condition is now they introduce new metrics. No. Okay. My mouse automatically changed the page. So the metrics of case is the new case on the last 7 days and per 100,000 population per day. And if this matrix is bigger than 10, or this is or condition, or positive rate matrix is bigger than 10%, which means that increased positive in the last 7 days divided by both positive and negative increase in 7 days. So let me go back to see that data. And they revised the target states 2 days ago. And it was, I think it was first 8 states or something like that. And then now this is 16. Yeah, 16 states. Has no restriction when you are going to travel to the tri-states. Now we can see Arizona and Florida and so on. All right. So today we are going to demonstrate create the Power BI on these two tables, this table and that chart from the scratch. Okay, let me start. Power BI. So now I am opening Power BI Desktop. Oh, this went to another screen. Let me, come on, excuse me. Yep. This is my Power BI Desktop. This is free for you to download from Microsoft site. So the first thing I will do is get data from web. This is CSV data on the first, the state-based data on COVID-19. Then I will transform the data for the preparation. Yep, they've already prepared this. Well, what I usually do is select the columns I need. For this one, date and state and positive, and they have positive, negative. In fact, a lot of field. But for today, I just need these three or three or four and remove other columns. Here is. However, I'd like to share one tip. This one. Okay. So after the last webinar, why this goes back? I got a failure on refresh saying these kind of long messages. And this is the column of the tab is not found. And yeah, I know the column, but I remove the column because I do not need it. However, this kind of error happens. And if this happens, then refresh stop. Wow, it's really terrible. And the reason is, okay, you can see here. Okay. So, in the last step of automatically update or change the type, Power BI automatically trying to get the data type like negative. Looks like this seems to be number and this seems to be date or so on. Before I remove not essential column. So even I remove the one, then if the data changed a little bit, it happens a lot. They may change the data. Then the refresh failed in this step. So I strongly recommend to remove the change data type here. Then once you select the field only you need, then I would set the data type, something like this, whole number for positive and whole number for positive and negative. Okay, so now I'm going to finish the preparation. The next thing I need to have is population to normalize. So I'm going to add another data. And this is the population based on census. And for this, what I need is state name and the population. And before that, I remove the automatic data type detection and select these columns. But you notice that this uses the state name and this data use the state name as an acronym. So in such case, I will add one more new source to connect the state abbreviation and state name. Select this table. Okay, then I would change the name of this as states, and based on the states, I'm going to add first mapping between states abbreviation and the state's name using merge query this time. In query editor, so I'm going to select this table and matching state and state, then expand the result for name. Then I have the name of the states. And again, now not this. With population table, this time I can use this name and this name as an index key and use this, expand only on population, and I would rename population here. But now you notice we don't use population for some states. It looks like this is Guam or something. So not the major states. So what I would do is remove empty states on population. I think now I'm ready on the data preparation here. Okay, now in Power BI Desktop, I am going to add a table while I am preparing the metrics. The table with state name and population or something like this. And the first thing is I am going to add new column to detect this is the latest data on each state or not. So I say latest equal and now we can set variable and this DAX format, and this is, I'd say, base state. I set the state name as the base state, and I'm going to return F and date or date is max. And maxx, you can set filter and filter on state chart, state table, and the condition is its state is same as base state we are checking, and the maximum of state. This shows that and close this true and false. Oh, oh, oh yeah, I need double quote. Double quote true or double quote false. So this return the value true if the date is the maximum date in the same states, and it says false for others. Okay, so I am checking this. Some says true and false. And next matrix I am going to set is the case matrix. It's a little bit too lengthy, so let me copy this. And this is similar, and I'm going to set base date, which is 7 days before the current date, and set the base location as the states. And I calculate the positive increase, which is positive minus. And here, when we use calculate, we remove the filter on this one. So this positive came from this line. But for this calculate came from the all table. Then I'm going to set the filter, and I'm going to take the maximum. In fact, there is only one, but the positive number of the base date, which means that 7 days earlier than the date, and normalized with population and each day. So this is case matrix. And let's see, the case matrix shows a reasonable number. Yep, seems like that. Then also I am going to add the positive rate matrix by adding new column. And show this. Then the last thing is based on two metrics. I'm going to determine whether this is the target of the new quarantine request, which says quarantine if the positive rate matrix is bigger than 10%, or case matrix is bigger than 10. And here is now. something wrong. Excuse me. This should be just 1 or 0. There's some positive rate. Matrix, I got the wrong one. Let's see. We have population, positive, latest, maybe the latest. Might be something wrong. Base state. Because quarantine should be 1 or 0 as far as I understand. But this is 71. Oh, yeah, that is because I added all the 1. Okay. Now I have to select because we only need the latest data. So I am going to add the condition that latest is true for all pages. Now, that's great. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to change the positive rate into the into percentage. Okay, then everything is latest. Now at the end we do not need latest nor positive number or population to simplify, and also and here now we are reaching to the data to the table we'd like to have. I'm going to remove the total because there's no sense to having a total by changing total as not off. Then now I am going to check each state is the target or not. So using conditional formatting and on name, color, there are 3 ways, but I often use rules and based on the positive quarantine data, and this is just 1, but I have to select 1, and if quarantine is equal or big, in fact this is 1, and then this I can say very big number. Then I'm going to show this as not red, and if let's see, yes, now we have the red text only for the states which are the target of quarantine. And I may add a few more conditional formatting like an case matrix. And this time, let me try icons. If you haven't used that one, not the sum average, and I love icon on the right side, and show icon only if the case number is greater than 10, and I have to set a really big number for this. Then, yes, looks like all the target states has case matrix is bigger than 10, and also add, excuse me, I have to select a positive rate matrix here, and also I'm adding icons and set the condition on the right side only one icon I needed, and is greater than 10, 10%. Okay, so now you're gonna see which state was become the target because of which reason. And if you sort based on a case matrix, yes, we have Kansas for 9.9 case matrix, and Oklahoma or Delaware, and so on. So these states need to be, might be in another target states. Depends on the trend. So the last thing is map this on the map. So I am going to give a name as location and the quarantine as a tooltip. Okay, and add color definition with, again, I'm going to use row and greater, or let's say we just have one or zero, but red for not count of the name, not count of the name. I have to select quarantine for target. Just and it's very standard. It's just 0, but I have to select something like this. Green. We do not have green. Yep. This is too vivid. Trying to. Okay. Then you can see the distribution of the target states, and wow, it's big. 16 states covers mainly this area. And interestingly, so the map is not perfect. For example, you can see maybe there is a missing thing, and this might be in Georgia. In fact, Georgia is mapped to the country Georgia in Europe. Now, in that case, I'd rather use state on this, which is just WA or something like that. And in fact, this is using Bing, and that would fit better on this Bing mapping. All right, I think I've covered the area. So we've covered how to add population in a query editor using merge, and also how to add query, how to add columns using DAX. And that's it. And it's time for question. Kirby, have we got any question or request?
Thanks, Karu, for the wonderful demo. Right now, we don't have questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to chat it in the question box. All right. Okay. So while we're waiting for the questions, if you want to turn your raw data into actionable business intelligence using Power BI analytics, we're here to help. At Qdabra, we have consultants who can help you build Power BI reports just like what you've seen in today's webinar. Let us know by emailing us at support@qdabra.com. Also, I want to talk briefly about Forms Viewer. If you haven't heard about it, I encourage you to check it out in the SharePoint App Store. It's the solution that we're offering for those who have invested in InfoPath. It allows you to move your InfoPath forms forward without having to rebuild them from scratch. Forms Viewer isn't just a replacement for InfoPath. You can extend your forms and make them look better for today's modern world. Our support for CSS means your forms can be quickly upgraded to add responsive rendering for mobile browsers. So if you need help with your existing form projects, or if you're planning to migrate your InfoPath forms, just drop us an email at support@qdabra.com. So I guess we don't have any
Okay.
questions for today's webinar. So I guess
Mhm.
everything is clear
Mhm.
to everyone.
And just in case, if you are interested in on the back end of new visuals, so what I have is, addition to the each layer and states or county or so on, I merged them into one big table that says all information, and you can just select based on the level. And for the dynamic connection between selection, and in fact, to make this happen on the natural dynamic selection, I had to create another table using the query editor, which contains only for the latest day's information, so that extra filter does not kill the historical graph. So that's not really quick information, but you will get this file later.
Yes, so thank you, Karu, for that. And also thank you all for attending. We hope to see you again in our next webinar. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much.